Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be looking at a goal given up by Cam Talbot in his game against the Blues the other night. It's a doozy. It's not the worst, but it's not great. I didn't like it, and we're going to do a full whiteboard breakdown of this one for you. So here's the freeze frame. This is the moment before the release of the shot, and we can see where Cam Talbot sets his feet. He's covering short side completely, overlapping his post and over-covering his short side with a complete blocking position of his upper right shoulder. That means he creates an inherent far side weakness. He's going to have to keep an eye on that. Now, is this an okay thing to do, to be off your angle? Yes. He is very slightly off his angle. You'll notice he's a little flat with his left foot inside the paint rather than rotated out towards the shooter. So he's creating a little bit of a far side weakness. Why is he doing that? It creates a shorter line to the pass option across, which he thinks is possibly available, but the shot comes and it beats him. So what happens? Was it because he covered his short side too much and flattened too much? I don't think so. I think he actually flattened the proper amount and set himself up to cover both the shot and the pass, given that this shot is a medium dangerous shot. It is below the top of the circle, but it's outside the dot and the angle is rather sharp. However, he uses a blocking butterfly. Watch this. He snaps his hands down to his hips as if he's in a blocking position, but he's not in a blocking position. He set himself up in a dynamic position to cover two different options at the same time. Let's head to the whiteboard and figure out why you can't do both of these things in the same play. So I'll set up this play for you, and we are going to use the top of my eraser as the size of the goalie all the time so we get consistent lines and a consistent picture of what we're doing by moving. Now everything is going to be exaggerated here so you can see what's going on. Now the green goaltender I draw here, this goaltender is in a perfect blocking position with their shoulders square to the puck and enough depth to cover the entire shooting angle. At this position you could use a blocking butterfly and cover almost the entire net. Active hands becomes less of an issue as this puck gets sharper and in tighter. But let's look at what Cam Talbot does. Now Cam Talbot plays this differently because he has a pass option across that he wants to account for. So he sets up with a small step to his short side to his right, and by flattening the angle, his left boot is further towards his post. And it's what I'm drawing here that really matters. The angle change of the blue goaltender will be less severe before pushing to the pass option. That is why Cam flattens. It'll be faster to get across if his angle is a little flatter to start. Now remember, if the puck was in a high danger area, we wouldn't allow for any of this. If the puck was below the top of the circle and inside the dots, you have to play it straight up no matter what. Flattening is unacceptable. Back pressuring might be okay, but being off your angle on a high danger puck is never acceptable. This puck, however, is outside the dot, meaning Cam has some option to play here. Now let's erase a bunch of the junk around this play and see what the shooter sees. So we'll leave Cam Talbot where he is and the shooter where he is. You're going to see me draw the eyeballs of a left-handed shooter. Now, I write on the whiteboard right-handed shooter, I think here, which is silly. This is a left-handed shooter coming down your right side. Now, think of where his eyes are in relation to the puck. His eyes are elevated above the puck, and they are sitting to his right of the puck, your left, meaning his eyes will always see more of your left side of your net. They will see more of your glove side. They are peering over your glove side shoulder on this setup in particular. So if you take a step to your short side like Cam Talbot has, those eyes get wide because now those eyes are looking directly around and over your left shoulder and seeing a wide open net. This makes it much more likely that this shooter will pull this puck in and rip it to that far side of yours. But you know that. You're an NHL goaltender, so you have to be prepared. This is why I don't understand why Cam Talbot chose to shut down in a blocking butterfly in this position. He set this shooter up to have nothing but far side and to see so much of his far side. So when the puck is shot there, I don't understand how he's not sitting with his glove up and out ready to play pitch and catch. He doesn't have to play pitch and catch on his short side because he's shutting his short side down with his body. His shoulder completely covers it. That hand had to be sat up and out. Now I write right-handed on right side sees far side. That is incorrect. It is a left-hander on your right side that sees the far side over your shoulder. So if you were going to play with these kind of tricks, you have to just be aware of where any particular shooter's eyeballs are. This particular setup, a left-hander on your right side coming down the ice, if you take a step to your short side to cover it and flatten on this particular type of play, their eyes are going to get wide. They see so much of that far side net. Now you see me drawing what he would stop if he was in a blocking butterfly position. You can see that the short side is completely covered. The far side has a lot of room. Now, what should he do instead? Play, like I said, with an active left hand up and out You're going to see me draw another line as if that hand was up and out, telescoped forward, covering more net. That is the difference. You need to make up the difference that you give up with that glove. It's got to be sat way up and out, ready to play pitch and catch. And I'm going to turn around and do a little demo for you here. Okay, so imagine that I'm Cam Talbot. I have my blocker in my glove. I'm going to take a step to my short side to cover it. So now, nothing is getting over or around my shoulder. That means when the puck comes, I can snap that arm down and rely on my shoulder and my arm to block. I don't have to move my blocker. But I know that I'm showing you far side because you are a left-hander coming down my right side and your eyes are peering there. If I lock it down the same way I do my short side, it's going to get around that arm and that glove. I am not in a blocking position on my far side. So what do? Hand up and out, telescoped towards that puck, covering that net. This is how he could have tried to cover this shot, ready to play pitch and catch where he gave you the net. Instead, he reacted to this shot like this, firstly snapping his glove down to his hip as if he was in a standard blocking position. And that is why you see this glove snap down and then back up. That back up you see, that's his brainstem trying to correct the issue. It's too slow though. So let's rate the play and the setup. For the play, I'm going to give Cam Talbot, well, on this particular goal, I have to give him a C+. A C+ because I think what he did here was rather smart. I honestly think this is the right situation in which to take a step to your short side and create a short side blocking position while putting yourself on a flatter angle, to be able to get across. This is one dynamic way of playing this position. This isn't completely incorrect. It's not the way I would play this, but it absolutely can work. However, if you are going to take a short half step to your short side and play your coverage this way, then you have to understand what you're showing the shooter and make the equal and opposite correction. This puck is not in tight enough where a blocking butterfly would shut down everything, even with that half step. When you take that half step to your short side and set up that way on this play, you have to be ready to play pitch and catch with that far side glove. That thing's got to be out, active, dynamic, and you've got to be keyed in on the puck going there. You don't have to be keyed in on the puck going to your short side because you're in the blocking position on your short side. So you make it easy for yourself on that short side shoulder, making it harder for yourself on that far side shoulder. But that gives you, more of a solid idea of where the puck is going and where you're going to have to react. So I think his setup was fine, but his finish, his save selection, way off. So it's a C+ on this particular play. If you go back and watch this whole game, the rest of his game on that night was really good. He actually had a really nice game. He made a lot of really good saves, but this particular goal I really wanted to set up and show you guys because it illustrates some of the tricks that you can play on shooters. And sometimes we try to play some tricks on shooters and create some shorter lines for ourselves on plays such as these, and it comes back to bite us, because if you're going to do things like this, you've got to be perfect in doing them. You have to have a perfect understanding of what you're doing. And remember, you're doing this at top speed. You're making all of these decisions in a second and a half total. So I'm not going to blame him too much. We'll give him a C+ on the play. Now, for the setup. I really like it. I think it's classic. Now, typically, I am a fan of 3-color setups, but the Red Wings are not a 3-color organization. They're a 2-color organization, red and white. These guys are absolutely classic in their color scheme, so he's got red and white to work with, and I think the Bauer shadows here, I think those are Bauer shadows, with the typical fill-in on the graphic actually white, and then just the outline of that fill-in. This is the same setup that James Reimer has, except I think he's white and blue for Buffalo, and I love these pads. I don't know what it is about the shadow with the typical graphic filled out and that outline through the middle filled in. I think this looks really, really good if you only have 2 colors to play with. So I really like this. I think this setup is great. It's solid. Again, nothing crazy, nothing super special, and the helmet is a little lackluster here. We got to start bringing the helmet into these guys. Cam Talbot used to wear a killer helmet for the New York Rangers with the Ghostbusters on it, like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, the big evil Stay Puft Marshmallow Man on it. Really cool, big part of his personality. I'd like to see more of that, more of his personality on this helmet. But I haven't taken a close look at it. I'm going to give this, 4.5 Dominic Hasek's out of 5 Dominic Hasek's. Okay, that's what it's going to be, 4.5 out of 5. And again, a C+ on the play. Really good illustration today, guys. This is a really good illustration of some of the higher level concepts in goaltending here. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if I did a good job. Respond down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with my grade on the play? Do you agree with my grade on this setup? And if you have any clips that you want me to take a look at, absolutely comment down below and we can set it up. All right, see you next time, guys.